thanks for joining me. I'm Segun Adiri, welcoming you to yet another fresh edition of your Saturday morning delight, Galaxy Line. I have a guest in the house today who is making a third showing. The last time he was here was February 2017. That's a little over a year now. And you will easily understand why he cannot but make repeated appearances. He's occupying a social activism seat upon which he cannot afford to keep quiet in the face of frequent frightening occurrences in the land. He is a university don and the director of an Islamic non-governmental organization, Muslim Rights Concern, MURIC. Please welcome Professor, it's a professor of Islamic eschatology, did I get that right?
Yes.
Of the Lagos State University. I'm talking about Professor Ishaq Akintola. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much indeed for coming.
My pleasure.
Well, we will take a little break at this point and we'll be right back after this time out. Stay with us. Welcome back. And if you just join us, the program is Galaxy Line, your weekly most watched program, current affairs personality interview. I'm being joined now by Professor Ishaq Akintola of the Lagos State University. In the next 50 minutes or so, we shall be reviewing some of the events within the Nigerian polity with special attention to religious matters and, of course, national security. Right. Given the spate of killings, I think that would be a great point to start. You know, the spate of killings going on around the country, endlessly, so to say, particularly the nature of the killings that we're talking about. Now, I hate to imagine it, but sincerely, Prof, isn't it ethnic and religious cleansing we're already witnessing in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. My brother, I want to say that it's very sad that these killings are going on, the way they're going on. But it's all, these killings are symptomatic of the weakness of our security sector. The security agencies are overwhelmed. That is one angle that I'm going to discuss. Another issue is, you see, there's nothing ethnic in this issue.
Really?
Neither is there anything religious.
Oh, really?
Yes. I
Must be
when I say there's
probably
nothing,
one lone voice amongst
good,
many.
good. It's possible. Well, what I mean by that is there are hidden hands from probably from outside Nigeria.
We'll
I think some people are there looking forward to destabilizing Nigeria. The kind of killing we witnessed, the kind of killing that was reported in a church in Benue about 3 days ago,
right,
on Tuesday,
when
to be exact.
Catholic priests were
Two Catholic priests
were killed and
about 16 other worshippers.
others, yes.
You see, anybody who goes into God's house, a place of worship, and attacks those who are there,
and killed them.
and if he goes there to attack, whether to abuse them or to do whatever, is offending God
Directly.
Because this is the house of God.
That's what we call sacrilege.
Yes, it's sacrilegious. Whatever you have against anybody who is in there, go and wait outside. Or go to his house and talk to him. Or go to the streets and talk to him. But not in God's house. It's supposed to be under God's protection. It's God's visitor where he is. God's own guest. And to attack a guest of God is sacrilegious. It shows that person has no single atom of piety in him. So, we will say it's a terrorist act. This is not the act of herdsmen. We know the herdsmen. Herdsmen we knew used to come with an ordinary stick to shepherd their cows. But when you talk of herdsmen carrying AK-40, what do you call it? AK-47 rifles, automatic rifles, which costs, a single AK costs nothing less than 1 million.
Naira.
It's over 1 million. So where will the herdsman get the money to buy that gun? How many cows will he sell to get the gun? So,
No,
some powerful people are behind all this. There may be a Nigerian connection. But don't forget, what's this Osama bin Laden group? Al-Qaeda once threatened to strike in Nigeria. And don't forget, Boko Haram has connections with ISIS.
Exactly, I was coming to all
And
of this.
Boko Haram elements have been caught in Lagos. Some of them have been caught in Ondo. How are we sure they've not infiltrated in large numbers into the Middle Belt? And they are there to cause mayhem. And of course, the style of Boko Haram has been to embarrass the federal government. They've been decimated, they've been debilitated, they've been technically knocked out, technically defeated, but they want to continue to embarrass the government. So that's why they are picking soft targets, anything that will turn Nigerians against themselves. So that's one major area. Then I spoke about the inability of the security agencies to manage the situation. It's not, they can manage, but they are unable to actually handle. Our police are outnumbered by the number of crimes being committed all over the country. The military too, they are confronted with the same problem.
Personnel.
And yes, personnel. And the National Assembly, our lawmakers are the worst lawbreakers. They must take the lion's share of the blame for the breakdown of law and order in many places. I will give you an example, sir.
No,
the money approved by General Muhammadu Buhari to purchase fighter aircraft. It was for the military. The National Assembly is threatening, Senate is threatening to impeach Buhari because of that. Does that make sense? He didn't buy a private aeroplane. And they think Nigerians will sit down watching them. It's very unfortunate. This is the only country where they know those who are inflicting harm on them and they sit down doing nothing.
Okay,
so
we'll get to that side of it. I'm still pursuing the issue of whether it is ethnic cleansing or religious cleansing that
I won't agree. I won't agree to that.
Great.
If we have enough policemen, if the police is well equipped, we have the total number of police we have is I think it's about 317,000. 317,000 to a population of 93 million people. I'm sorry, 193 million people, according to the Population Bureau in December 2016. And the United Nations recommend at least 449, to every 449 citizens, there should be one policeman. So the police is outnumbered. We need more policemen. How many soldiers do we have? They are not more than 100,000. How many SSS men do we have? They are not more than 33,000. And they need more. Now, there is crisis in Borno. There is crisis in Boko Haram was in Borno, it was in Yola, it was in Yobe, and it was in Adamawa. 3 whole states. Now they've been limited and cornered to even they've been pushed out of all the local governments, even in Borno itself, except in Sambisa. But while the military is battling Boko Haram in the northeast, crisis erupts in the southeast. Crisis erupts in the Middle Belt. Crisis erupts in Plateau, in Benue, in Taraba. And all these sections need the services, the presence of soldiers. So how will the military be able to cope? Dispatching men, deploying men in their hundreds, in their thousands, here and there. That is what is happening. If we have more, we should recruit more soldiers. We should recruit more policemen. Recruit more SSS.
Let me be able to take us, systematically, step by step. We're still trying to look at exactly why do we have all this spate of killings? And they are unending. You said it's not ethnicity. You said it's not about religion. Okay, fine. Is it an extension of the Boko Haram insurgency that is primarily fighting, what do we call it?
Guerrilla warfare.
No, this kind of education now. Formal education. Western education.
Western education.
That's it. That's what they are fighting, basically.
Yes, according to them.
This spate of killings, is it as a result of, or do we call it extension of Boko Haram insurgency? Or is it about the economics of cattle business?
You see,
let's be able to take it one by one like that.
Don't forget, cattle business was more popular, the northern region, taken together, used to be, and is still the real base of cattle business. But we have generals and governors, former governors, who own thousands of heads of cattle in this country. But the public don't know. We don't know that some Yoruba governors have thousands of heads of cattle. We don't know that some Igbo governors have thousands of heads of cattle. And that the herdsmen we see on the streets, in some corners around us here, belong to powerful people, not from Kaduna or from Kano, but from Ibadan, from Ekiti, and from Ondo, or from Enugu or Port Harcourt. People who are our billionaires today, former governors, former senators, they discovered that cattle business was like, was a money spinner. And it is still a money spinner. So they are into it. And if we talk of the possession of, sophisticated weapons by herdsmen, then I will be fingering them. Meanwhile, you will remember that desertification has caused a lot of harm. And it is coming southwards. The whole Sahara Desert is now rendered dry. And herdsmen cannot find
grazing
land around that area, but to come down south. In their search for richer, greener pasture, they come down south. They are in Lagos. They are in Benin. Enugu. They are in Enugu. No more, no less. But the kind of hate speeches, the kind of hate messages, the kind of politics of bitterness that we have been manifesting is the cause of the attacks by herdsmen, attacks on their cattle, attacks by the herdsmen on farmers. I will not support the destruction of farms by herdsmen for any reason. But then these people just, they have, you only speak the language you know. The only food they know is vegetation. And of course, with too little education, they don't know what to respect and what not to respect. And the responsibility for that lies squarely on who? On the owners of the cattle, owners of the cows, not on the herdsmen. They should employ herdsmen who will be properly trained. That's one problem Nigeria has. Employ properly trained herdsmen who would know the difference between a farmland and ordinary vegetation and the forest. Cows should be taken to the forest where nobody is tilling the soil, where nobody has planted anything, so that you don't hurt anybody. Right. And as we say that, our people should also faithfully listen to government. When government talks of plans, alternative plans for the rearing of cattle, when they talk of ranching, and
okay, we'll get into all of that. Like I said, let's take it step by step. During a recent overseas trip, our President Muhammadu Buhari, said in his speech, or at least gave an impression in that speech, that late Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya could be blamed for the Boko Haram infiltration into Nigeria, saying that Boko Haram fighters were trained, by this Libyan leader before he died. Do you buy this argument as one of the reasons why we're having this spate of killings?
When we talk, first of all, when we talk of Boko Haram, we should look at the Kasubele.
What's this?
What was it? What was the origin of Boko Haram? It is our sense of social justice, which is a kind of prejudiced.
Low sense of social justice.
A biased sense of social justice. Our legal system, the attitude of our police, the way our law enforcement agents treat the poor as compared to how they treat the rich. There should be equality before the law. But our law enforcement agents don't know this.
They know, but
they look down on the poor. Poor teachers like us are nobody. But when they see the big man, it is rankadede, whether he's a criminal or not.
You mean this is what gave birth to Boko Haram?
Yes, definitely. It's one major reason. And I'm looking at the history. The way Boko Haram, the way the supporters, the followers of, can't remember his name, Yusuf. One Yusuf, who was the leader of the Jamaatul Sunnah Jamaat Ihya Sunnah wa Ihmad al-Bid'ah. That is the organization of people who are promoting the Sunnah and fighting innovations. They were not violent ab initio. And people who are just holding their religious meetings, holding public lectures, and so on and so forth, how did they become violent? Something happened. One of them died, and they were taking the coffin in Maiduguri. They were taking the coffin to the cemetery to bury him. And you see, the culture in that place, they use a lot of Okada. And so from their mosque, they all went in a convoy. Well, and when you have a convoy of Okadas in their hundreds, and police stopped them, asking all of them to put on helmets. How many helmets? They said, look, we are in a convoy. We are all together. We are going to bury our deceased brother. Allow us to go today. Ask of helmet another day. But you see, tact, diplomacy, and common sense. The way our security agents are trained, sometimes they need this. It is not every time that you insist forcefully. The police on that day insisted and shot one of them again. That was the beginning. there was rampage. But weeks later, you see, when these people, when an organization starts a campaign in one state, it spills over to other places where they have followership. In Niger State, that was the base of Yusuf, their leader. The headquarters was invaded by the police. The house was bulldozed. The mosque was bulldozed. Yusuf was arrested. When you arrest a man live, he was alive. He was taken to the police station and he was shown live on television. By the next morning, police reported that he had died. Somebody you arrested live. His clothes was removed. He was wearing a short trousers. He was wearing short trousers. And by morning time, he was declared dead. When the body was looked, when they were about to bury him, they found that he had been shot. That was extrajudicial killing.
So
and you remember 6 policemen were later apprehended and taken to court, arraigned.
The point you are making now is?
The point I'm making now is we started the Boko Haram, the Nigerian security agents started the Boko Haram with their own hands.
So what do you say to the statement?
Those people were not violent before. Okay. They are now violent.
Okay. What do you say to the statement by President Buhari that this matter had something to do with Muammar Gaddafi?
That was much later. That this matter, it didn't, let me amend that statement. President Muhammadu Buhari did not say this matter had anything to do with Gaddafi. He didn't accuse Gaddafi. He spoke about the problem of that erupted during the last days of Gaddafi's regimes. He said Gaddafi has trained some fighters whom he had around him. But because of the threats that he discovered around that time, when Gaddafi was killed, these fighters had nowhere else to go. They came down south. They crossed the Sahara and they entered countries like Chad, Niger, Liberia, Sierra Leone, but they found Nigeria much more comfortable for their criminal activities. And they escaped with sophisticated weapons. Those weapons were not accounted for after the death of Gaddafi. So that's not blaming Gaddafi. Every ruler wants to secure his domain. He was using them for security reasons.
Our problem can be traced to that. Is that what the
our problem can be traced to fighters who escaped from Libya.
Okay.
He didn't mention Gaddafi.
Okay, all right. Now, let's move another step further.
And some of those fighters may be members of ISIS.
Okay, okay. The Christian Association of Nigeria has sounded a note of warning that the unending wanton killing of Christians around the country could ignite another civil war. Do you share this sentiment?
I am not a Christian. I'm not their member. Naturally, I cannot share that sentiment. I am a Muslim. I am a lover of peace. I don't support violence. And I would love a situation whereby...
How do you explain this?
I would love a situation
to be against Christians.
I would love a situation whereby Christian leaders, particularly in the Christian Association of Nigeria, would exhibit responsible leadership.
How do you mean?
Good. Muslims
allow their members to continue to be killed?
Good. Should the Muslims also allow their members to be killed?
Continually.
Continually? Our members also have been killed continually. When there is criminality in the society, it affects all segments. This thing is not affecting Christians alone. Jumat centers, mosques are being bombed on a weekly basis in the northeast. The Muslims have not cried out to say there will be war.
These things don't get reported?
They get reported. Forget about that. Even in Benue, in Taraba, Muslims are being killed in their tens and hundreds on a weekly basis. Even yesterday in Benue, what's the capital of Benue? This capital, Makurdi. In Makurdi, 12 Muslims were killed in cold blood. Yes, just yesterday.
By who?
By Benue youths who claimed they were avenging the death of the 2 priests who were killed on Tuesday. That is jungle justice. Those who killed those priests, our organization, Muslim Rights Concern, was among those who condemned the killers, attackers, and we asked the Inspector General of Police to get them arrested. Because we don't support killings, we don't support violence. And now, to come out in large numbers and waylay commuters and travelers who were on the highway, who didn't know there was any problem anywhere. They stopped the vehicles and started asking, are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? They dragged out all the Muslims in every vehicle they found. The report is on social media. We get this report, but we don't ask the Muslim to go and declare war. Calm leaders should exercise patience. They should learn to be responsible leaders. The leaders don't just, you cannot be waiting to see things that will make you happy and joyful at all times. Some will make you sad, but you exercise patience because you're restrained. Because your pronouncement, anything you say, will be interpreted 1,000 ways.
All right.
So let me make an appeal today to Muslims who are listening to us that the fact that Muslims were killed yesterday does not mean you should go out and attack a church. If you attack a church, you are committing a sin against God, against Allah. Because Allah does not say you should destroy other people's places of worship. Don't destroy a shrine. Don't destroy a church. Don't attack a Christian. Don't kill a Christian. Don't hate a Christian. If a Christian is hungry and you don't feed him, Allah will ask you.
I won't be surprised before the end of today we start hearing some other killings.
Some other killings. And what Nigerians should know is we should stop killings. We should stop hate speech. We should stop spreading messages of hostility.
Okay, right. We will take a quick break at this point. We'll be right back. Prof is still very much around. Stay with us. You're welcome back. The program is still Galaxy Line, and my guest remains a professor of Islamic eschatology.
Yes, sir.
Did I get that right?
You get it.
Great.
You got it.
Yes, it's Professor Ishaq Akintola.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome. Let me take another quotation from our president. This one was within the last 24 hours. It was quoted as saying, he may have been part of the killer headsmen if he was not educated. What do you make of this instructive statement? That if he was not educated, he probably would be one of those people doing the killings all over now.
He's simply, President Muhammad Buhari, by saying that, is simply condemning illiteracy and challenging the youth to go to the field and go to school, learn. In fact, if you may be a Muslim, you may be a Christian, you may be an educated illiterate. Some graduates are just illiterate graduates. But the way things are in Nigeria today.
And you'll be surprised, some of these people called who are killing all over the places are graduates, but who are jobless.
You see, joblessness.
They have no job.
Illiteracy.
So they take to the gun.
You see, and of course, laziness. We are very lazy. We don't go out to find the truth about things. We don't investigate.
We come back to the laziness thing.
It's
also credited to the president.
Yes.
So yes. We get back to that too.
If he says he would have been, or he could have been, then he's being factual. He's being realistic. So don't let us crucify a man who is frank, down to earth. And he said, okay, well, like, let me say now, if I were born in China, if Akintola was born in China, Akintola would have been a Buddhist. If I was born in India, I would have been, I would have been, is it Buddhism or whatever in India again? So I wouldn't have been a Muslim. The Muslims do believe that every human being was born a Muslim, but that is neither here nor there, because those people don't know it. So it is just, you are just lucky that you are born where you were born.
Now, still talking about...
And you didn't take that decision by yourself.
Yes, still talking about the president's statement as to if he wasn't educated.
Yes.
He could probably be one of the killers,
Yeah.
within this group today. What I'm getting from that is to say that, when you lack education, you can be up to anything. In other words, what should anybody have? That's my question now. What should anybody have against formal education? Because this is the reason some who even have the opportunity of nothing there, they are not taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yes.
They even say Western education is stupid.
Yes.
They don't want it.
It's haram.
That's
They call it haram.
Exactly.
And that's why they are called Boko Haram.
Boko Haram.
You see.
Exactly. What should anybody have against
You
them?
need to sit down and look at, and study what they are saying. From my background, coming from where I am coming from, I can understand what they're saying.
Tell me.
Good. I've been to, I studied Islamic studies. I studied Arabic language. I went to Cairo Al-Azhar University. I came home with a certificate in Arabic, translated into English. I presented it. I was appointed as a teacher. I took that certificate to the school's board for employment. They sent me to a school, to a government school in Oyo State in Ibadan to teach. The school principal refused to allow me to teach.
Why?
Good. My certificate is in Arabic. I was to teach Arabic and Islamic studies. And this principal told me that he would not allow me to teach that. He asked me if I had other qualifications. I asked him, like what? He said, did I have any school cert or GCE? I said, well, I have London GCE. And I presented, he asked for it, and I brought it out from my bag. Showed him my London GCE. He saw the subjects I passed. Then he said, oh, English literature, A, distinction. Oh, your best subject is English literature. You will teach English literature here. You can see how funny that is. And I told him, Mr. Principal, sir, my English literature is at secondary school level, or rather, London GCE. So how can I use it to teach in a secondary school? When government sent me here to go and teach Arabic, he said nobody could teach Arabic in his own school or Islamic studies in his own school. And he told me if I didn't teach English literature, I would not get any salary. I was in that school for 3 months, I didn't get any salary. And I was not ready to compromise, and I didn't compromise. I was hungry. Until I reported to the Muslim students in Iwo Road, where they were holding their meeting. And they took me to the school's board, used their influence to get the school board to take action. But the school board too conspiratorially refused to take action against that school principal. The school board reposted me, issued another letter, posted me to another school, to Islamic High School, Itabashore, Ibadan. The records are there. That means even the school board was in the know. They were there to waste graduates of Arabic and Islamic studies. That is what is going on. So what they are doing there, so while the Muslims, those Boko Haram people are saying they are against Western education, this is one of the reasons. Western education had made attempts and is still making attempts to eliminate Islamic education. We are not tolerant in this country.
But Christians
So
are also...
I've not finished.
They're also levying the same allegation.
I've not finished. That is not for me here.
Okay.
I gave you my personal experience. Who feels it knows it. I am supposed to be bitter today to the very end. But I'm not bitter towards my Christian friend, Christian compatriots. What they did to me was terrible. And it is inhuman. It was an encroachment on my Allah-given and fundamental human right. It shouldn't have been done. It shouldn't have happened. And the school's board ought to have punished that principal. I should have been returned to that school because it was government school and there should be an error. The population of that school, the Muslim students there came out. I was there for 3 months and I was able to study. The Muslim students would come out in their hundreds and play with me, but I was not allowed to teach them. What do you call that? Which means the school principals who are Christians, teachers who are Christians, are always discouraging the practice or the learning of Islamic education in the schools. They are discouraging the learning of Arabic language in the schools. And are you sure that those who were referring to Boko Haram as Boko Haram have not experienced such bitterness? Friday used to be free, sir. By 1085, when Islam entered this country, Friday used to be free. From 1085 to 1834, when Christianity came, 800 years later, Friday was the weekend. Thursday and Friday were the weekends. We went to school on Saturday and Sunday. The colonial master came and stopped Friday just like that and introduced his own Sunday. Justice demands that he should have given, if he was taking Sunday, he should have left our Friday. That injustice is still there till today. So how do you expect the Muslims to keep quiet? What the Boko Haram people are doing is that they are expressing it in a violent manner. We are expressing it in an intellectual manner, in a peaceful manner. So when somebody says, when they talk about hating Western education,
right,
you should understand what the Muslims are saying.
I see. Okay, this might lead me to the next question, really. I have to jump to this question.
Yes, sir.
All the occurrences so far, Boko Haram, herdsmen, killings, and all the rest of that, they have done one thing. They have produced an adverse effect for the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria. What do I mean by that? Many people are holding Muslims in suspect. You know, you share the same kind of belief, the same religion. So it's like, hey, Muslims are up to something in Nigeria against Christians, especially when you see a lot of Christians being killed, a lot of churches being bombed.
When you refer to a lot of churches being bombed,
let me
also refer to a lot of mosques being bombed.
Okay, let me now ask
it's
the question.
In fact, more mosques have been destroyed than churches, while more Muslims have been killed than Christians.
Let me put the question to that background I painted.
Yes.
Groups like Murik, which you heard, and even the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, do they feel worried about this sort of denigrating or denting of Muslims' image, so to say? Do they feel worried?
Let me answer your question, sir.
Okay.
America occupies leadership position in the Committee of Nations today. But not only that, America today is the bastion of Christianity. The population is massive. The sentiment is Christian. The thinking, the mentality is Christian. But America as a nation has been responsible for the destruction and killing of people in their millions in many countries. Take Vietnam. Take Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If one country can drop a bomb, that was in 1949, August 6 in Hiroshima, August 9 in Nagasaki. And people died in their thousands within seconds. What, you don't call that heartless? You don't call that massive killing? You don't call that weapon of mass destruction? Why did America invade Iraq? When you talk of, you think Muslims are responsible for killing of people. What do you call the invasion of Iraq? Where more than 500,000 children alone, more than 500,000 were killed. And who, has America answered any question? George Bush, arrogantly said he had no apologies for destroying Iraq. And the war is still going on in Iraq now. There's no peace. But decades later. And don't forget, the excuse for invading Iraq was that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. The excuse for invading Syria now, which is ongoing, is weapons of mass destruction. They've not found any in either countries. The war in Iraq over, and by the time they discovered that they had no weapons of mass destruction, even the British Prime Minister confessed that, well, they just cooked it up. So, I want you to consider one fact. Individuals who have criminal minds will always commit crimes. It is not the religion. It is not their religion. Otherwise, we will make bold here today to say Americans are criminal Christians and that Christians are killers. Because those dead, their souls are on the neck of America, American Christians. Should we say Christians of the world are also criminals?
Okay, let me talk back to you. Just the way you're saying for Christians now, that's the way some
now we are saying
feeling
on some
on the side
occasions,
of Muslims.
yes,
all these people.
I understand that.
And the example you gave of your
Yes.
own personal
experience
in Ibadan in those days tends to make people to want to imagine that you are probably staying behind. You are not doing the fighting, but you are instigating others who are ready to do the fight.
Whoever can imagine wants to imagine anything is free to imagine.
I'm not saying you as a person now.
No, let them imagine.
I'm saying
let them imagine.
the Muslim woman.
Somebody who was hurt, somebody whose right was encroached upon. He has the right to express his feeling. But I didn't express it with bitterness. And even at the end of the day, I still advise Muslims to remain peaceful and calm.
But what do you say of the people who are fighting and killing? And
that is their own way. That's their own way of reacting. My own way of reacting. There are Muslims, you see, say there are 100 Muslims in Nigeria today. Only 3% of them are fighting. Only 3% of them believe in this fighting and
killing.
And don't forget, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the able leadership of the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has issued several statements imploring Muslims to remain peaceful and condemning the Boko Haramists and terrorists.
Exactly.
Muslim rights concern Murik has issued several statements. In fact, when the Bende Church was attacked on Tuesday, Murik immediately issued a statement, and it was widely published, condemning those who perpetrated that criminal act. So we continue to condemn them. We continue to advise them to continue to dissuade them to eschew. We continue to ask them to eschew bitterness, to eschew violence. Violence is a square peg.
Are you going to be able to? Is the Islamic Council? I mean the
Nigerian Supreme Council?
Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Would they ever be able to stamp out these killings and this violence and all the rest of that? Maybe you now tell them enough is enough.
Don't forget.
You have made enough point. The point is well made already.
Don't forget, sir.
Down tools.
That responsibility lies squarely with the leadership of the violent groups. Really. It's a loose network.
The Supreme Council cannot do anything about it.
It's a loose network. When you call an organization an umbrella organization, there will be those who even feel they are not obliged to listen. And if Muhammadu Buhari, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, cannot command them to drop their weapons, who are we to ask them to command them and they obey? We can only...
It's that bad.
It's that bad. If you say these people are attacking our mosques, they are killing imams, Is it, people cannot be so deaf. People, the general amnesia should not be so bad. People should not forget. They killed an emir. I think, was it the emir of Daura or something? They killed an emir. And if emirs are highly revered in the north. Yeah. And Boko Haram waylaid, they ambushed an emir, they killed him. They attacked mosques, they picked ulama, knowledgeable Muslims, Islamic teachers. They picked them night after night, kidnapped them and killed them, shot them in their homes. So these people are not fighting for Islam. They are not fighting for the Muslims. They are enemies of the Muslims. And we have told the whole world that they are not part of us.
Okay, all right. I think that point is well made. Another potentially dangerous situation is the one having to do with El Zakzaki. He just got slammed with some fresh charges of murder, together with his wife and maybe some 2 other followers of his. What do you think this latest development could possibly lead to? This slamming him with murder charge. After putting him in prison for so long.
I may not be able to comment on that because publicly, the rest of the Muslim world, the rest of Islamdom in Nigeria, apart from the members of Al-Zakzaki, so the rest of us are working behind the scene. We are contacting government. We are contacting the security agents who are keeping him. We are ensuring, we are checking and advising. We are concerned about his health. We are concerned about the wife's welfare. But we are also concerned about the Nigerian people in general. There must be peace. People have accused the followers of Al-Zakzaki of certain misdemeanors. They accused his followers and himself of blocking the roads and making life intolerable for other road users and other neighbors. They will go on, they will go in groups, in large numbers. They will trek from Zaria to Kaduna sometimes from Zaria to Kano. But they will not arrange themselves in lines, maybe of 2 or 3, and allow vehicles who are traveling to move. They will block the whole road, they will be trekking, and they will force other vehicles to be driving slowly behind them. It's like occupying Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. From Lagos to Ibadan, you are trekking, and you don't allow vehicles to overtake you.
So what position are you taking?
The position I am taking is that...
Maybe not you as a person now, but the Muslim Ummah.
Yes, the position we have been advised, we are advising ourselves to take is that we should douse tension. Okay. We should keep talking to government to take good care of him. We should keep talking to the followers of Al-Zakzaki to change tactics, adopt dialogue.
Are you averse to his being charged with murder?
That is for the lawyers to say. He has his lawyers. I said I will not comment on that. So pardon me if I don't respond.
Maybe we should.
His lawyers will do the job.
Okay, maybe we should go on to something else now that you have taken an excuse of that. Let's talk about that Nigerian.
Please let me explain one thing.
Okay.
Though a human rights activist, and our organization is a human rights organization designed to promote the interest, to protect the rights of Muslims in general, especially, and the Nigerian public in general. Why are we shying away? Why don't we want to talk about the rights of Sheikh Ali Zakzaki? The fact is, Sheikh Ali Zakzaki has followers. The rest of the Muslims also have their own followers. They have their different organizations. These people are saying, even the followers of Sheikh Ali Zakzaki don't even respect them. They intimidate the Muslims, and that they were part of those who used to invite police to check them. And they didn't listen before the army clamped down on Zakizaki. If Murik now stands up and starts advocating for the rights and privileges of the Zakizaki group, then are we ignoring the rights of the Muslims whom they had been intimidating from the beginning? So that could bring clash of interest. So we are out for diplomacy, tactical diplomacy, that we should settle rifts.
To douse tension?
And douse tension.
Bring peace. Okay then. Let's quickly take the little time left to talk about the Nigerian youths. A lot of them are coming out now to contest, some for even outright presidency, and they've been called all manner of names: exuberant, immature, inconsequential. They even say they lack in experience. And in fact, lately, our President Buhari, added to the invectives. You know what he said? He said these guys are lazy youths, lazy folks. I'm sure you know that. And he's gotten a lot of knocks for that. As a person, how do you perceive the Nigerian youths?
A lot of Nigerian youths are very intelligent. A lot of Nigerian youths are very intelligent
and creative,
hardworking.
Great, not lazy.
I'm coming. Even the president didn't call them lazy, so I won't call them lazy. The president only said there were some of them, lots of them, who loved easy money, fast cars, cheap oil, because Nigeria is in oil. So, and those who are criticizing the president, are quoting the president out of context, and they are politicizing the issue. But they also know they know what obtains. Even Akpabio called people, the youth in the state,
senator.
Yes, called when he was governor. He made such reference to the youth in his own state.
That they were lazy.
Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1974. During the launching of Gani Fawehinmi's book, Chief Gani Fawehinmi's book, he referred to Nigerian youth. He said they they sleep too much, and that anybody who aspires to be great should sleep a little.
But isn't it at that era?
Even that era,
the Nigerian youth have since changed.
Even they've not changed.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. All these Yahoo boys, have they changed? And those who get impersonators to take exams for them, and some parents who even destroy their youth, their young children, by encouraging them to cheat.
A couple of them have come out to want to contest for the presidency. How do you describe them?
I don't. You see, we should not discourage them.
Okay.
If a young man has credibility, if he has been known to be hardworking, you see, I see the mechanics in my area. I see the bricklayer in my area. I see the carpenter in my area. I see them carrying heavy logs of wood on their shoulders. I saw two guys, the bricklayer and his laborer, pushing a cart yesterday. It was too heavy for them. They couldn't push it on the sand. And I gave kudos to them. They were youth, they are youth, and I love such people. So any young man who has been hardworking, look at his record. If he wants to contest, check his credentials. If it is genuine, if he has been participating in encouraging ventures in his own area, if he has been attending youth meetings, if he has been clearing the road, if he has been paying his security bill, if he has been paying his electricity bill, if he has never cheated in examination, I will vote for him. It is the young ones who will take over. Whether these are people who are sharing, who are taking 29 million naira every month in the National Assembly for sleeping there, they will go one day or die there at the end, because when they are 99-year-old and using walking stick, when they cannot climb the steps any longer, they will have to go one day. So they need young ones to take over. And these young ones we must tell those who are lazy that they are lazy. Yahoo boys are lazy. The kidnappers are lazy. Those who wake up in the morning and they are playing Ludo, they are lazy.
And they say in Yoruba, Ishe lalagbe
Alagbe. Well, no, that's a wrong proverb. Alagbe, what work is Alagbe doing? Unless that Alagbe who has only one leg or whose arm is amputated. No, if he likes
it's not an easy thing
no,
to beg
unless
to
he
get
has
money.
a reason for begging. If he's blind, if his arm is amputated, if he has only one leg, those can be excused. But otherwise, people should be hardworking.
Our time is up. Prof, I wish we had much more time because there's so many other things to talk about.
Welcome,
and I know you can talk and talk and talk.
Thank you, sir.
It's at this point we will have to draw the curtain on the show today. Thank you very much, Professor Ishaq Akintola of the Lagos State University, and is a professor of Islamic eschatology.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
I want to thank you very much too for investing your time with us on the show today. Next week, I promise, by the grace of God, I'll be back with another personality on Galaxy Line for discussion on deep national issues. On behalf of my colleagues in the studio, I want to thank you very much and say bye-bye. See you next week.